Good Tuesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday with a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, we provide our conversation with author Deborah Goodrich Royce discussing her new book, Reef Road. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, Bill safety Hamlin back in Buffalo to continue recovery. Doctors who treated Damar Hamlin said the Bill's safety was moved to a hospital in Buffalo on Monday, an uplifting sign of the remarkable progress he has made a week after going into cardiac arrest and having to be resuscitated on the field during a game in Cincinnati. Hamlin was discharged from the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in the morning on Monday and flown to Western New York, where he will continue his recovery. He was listed in stable condition at Buffalo General Medical Center. I can confirm that he is doing well, and this is the beginning of the next stage of his recovery, said Dr. William Knight, one of his doctors in Cincinnati. Doctors said Hamlin has been walking since Friday and eating regular food and undergoing therapy that said he was on a normal or even accelerated trajectory in his recovery from cardiac arrest, which is considered a life-threatening event, and that normal recovery can be measured from weeks to months. We continue to be ecstatic about his recovery, Dr. Timothy Pritz said on Monday. Hamlin's return comes a day after he cheered on the Bills from his hospital bed during their regular season-ending 35-23 win over the New England Patriots. The game proved to be a cathartic outpouring of support for the Bills and for Hamlin. Hamlin was so excited watching teammate Nyheim Hines return the opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown that he jumped up and down, got out of his chair, set every alarm off in the ICU in the process, Pritz said with a laugh. Pritz said it was still premature to comment on the potential cause of Hamlin's cardiac arrest. In more national news, Weinstein's sentencing on rape conviction delayed to February. Harvey Weinstein's sentence for rape and sexual assault convictions was delayed on Monday so that his attorneys can file a motion for a new trial. The 70-year-old former movie magnate could get up to 18 years in prison at the sentencing that is now scheduled for February the 23rd. He is already serving a 23-year sentence for a similar conviction in New York, which is under appeal. The Los Angeles Superior Court judge said at a brief hearing that she expects Weinstein will be sentenced February 23rd should the motion be denied. On December the 19th of last year, a jury convicted Weinstein of 1 count of rape and 2 counts of sexual assault against an Italian model and actor who testified that he appeared uninvited at her hotel room during a Los Angeles Film Festival in 2013. In more national news, nurses go on strike at 2 big New York City hospitals. Thousands of nurses went on strike Monday at 2 of New York City's major hospitals after contract negotiations stalled over staffing and salaries nearly 3 years into the coronavirus pandemic. The privately owned nonprofit hospitals were postponing non-emergency surgeries, diverting ambulances to other medical centers, pulling in temporary staffers, and assigning administrators with nursing backgrounds to work in wards in order to cope with the walkout. As many as 3,500 nurses at one hospital in the Bronx and about 3,600 at a hospital in Manhattan were off the job. Talks were resuming on Monday afternoon, but there was no immediate word on when bargaining might resume at one of the hospitals. In more national news, Adam Rich, former 8 is Enough child star, dies at 54. Adam Rich, the child actor with the page boy mop top who charmed TV audiences as America's Little Brother on 8 is Enough, has died. Rich died over the weekend at his home in the Brentwood section of Los Angeles. The cause of death was under investigation, but was not considered to be suspicious. Rich had a limited acting career after starring at age 8 as Nicholas Bradford, the youngest of 8 children, on the ABC hit dramedy that ran from 1977 to 1981. Betty Buckley, who played his stepmother on the show, said on Instagram that she was shocked to learn of his death and referred to Rich as a light, her young pal on set, and friend ever since. And finally, in business news, stocks end up mixed on Wall Street after early gains fade. U.S. stocks were mixed Monday at the start of a week, with a few events that could shake markets, including updates on inflation and the health of corporate profits. The S&P 500 dipped 0.1% after surrendering an early gain of 1.4% in its first trading after closing out its first winning week in the last 5. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped nearly 113 points, or 0.3%, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 0.6%. Altogether, the S&P 500 slipped 3 points to 3,982, the Dow fell 113 points to 33,518, and the Nasdaq rose 66 points to 10,636. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Tuesday's episode of Words I Choose to Live By. While others may want to measure your worth based on what you have, show them how invaluable you are by being who you are meant to be. There's no price that can be put on living your life comfortable in your own skin and ready for whatever the world may bring your way. Never underestimate the greatness within. Instead, embrace it. Have an amazing Tuesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Deborah Goodrich Royce in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with Entertainment Spotlight. Best-selling author Deborah Goodrich Royce joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her literary success and new book, Reef Road. Here's a bit of our conversation. Deborah, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
It is my pleasure, Cyrus. Thank you for having me here.
Glad to do it. Deborah, you've done something with Reef Road that I've seen you do before and that I love so much, and I know other readers do too, and that is you're able to bring us into the place just as much as we get to know the people. So what has it been like for you to hear the early response to the book so far?
Well, the early response has been so positive that I'm pinching myself, and I'm holding my breath on that one because it's very meaningful and very gratifying. But I'm so glad you said that about place. Place is so important for me, and all my novels are set in real places because I always get, when I'm reading somebody else's book, that thrill of excitement when I recognize, oh my goodness, I've been to that candy store, or I know that block, or I've seen that movie theater. I've been there. I just think it makes it like a movie for me. So I definitely, when I'm writing a book, if I'm not in that place, I go there, I walk it, I make sure it's all exactly as I'm saying it is.
I love that. So that brings up an obvious question then, Deborah. What typically comes first for you? Like a story like Reef Road that has so many, I love the way that you're able to bring these different parts of the story together, but is it typically the story that comes to mind or the place you want to set it in?
Well, in this case, it was very particular. My real mother's real best friend was murdered in 1948 in Pittsburgh, and it's an unsolved crime. And it had a big effect on my mom, who's still alive, by the way, but for her life, and by extension, an effect on me. So I've always been interested in the concept of trauma that is kind of, tangential. Things that happen to a victim, but then what happens to the other people who surround, this kind of ripple effect. So when the pandemic lockdown shut us down wherever we were, I was in Florida, and I thought I will take the time to finally research the real crime.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversations Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow with more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course, the Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, we're host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Now let's go make it a good one.